There are habits silently sabotaging your success, your health, your relationships, and your happiness. Brian Tracy, one of the world's most respected voices in personal development, has spent his life studying human behavior, goal achievement, and the power of self-discipline. And if there's one thing he makes crystal clear, it's this. No matter how big your dreams are, if you don't identify and eliminate these 5 destructive habits, you'll never get far. In fact, these habits don't just hold you back, they slowly kill you from the inside out. They drain your energy, dim your potential, and leave you feeling frustrated, empty, and lost. It all starts with what you do every day, especially when no one is watching. Because for Tracy, success is nothing more than the sum of your habits, and the first destructive habit, one that millions of people fall into without realizing, is procrastinating on what really matters. Procrastination, that familiar enemy, isn't just a bad habit. According to Brian, it's a slow poison that kills your self-esteem. Every time you put off something you know you should do, you're sending a subconscious message to yourself. I'm not capable. I don't have control over my life. I can't be trusted. That message, repeated over and over, chips away at your confidence, your productivity, and your sense of purpose. But the worst part isn't just what you're not doing. It's what you're losing: time, clarity, opportunity. Brian Tracy emphasizes that every minute wasted in procrastination is time you could be using to build the life you truly want. Because the key to achieving any goal, no matter how big, is action. Disciplined, focused, consistent action. And every time you delay what you know needs to be done, you're training your mind to run away from commitment, discomfort, and growth. You become mentally and emotionally weaker, and over time that weakness shows up in your life. The second habit that's slowly destroying you is letting excuses control your life. Excuses like, I don't have time, I don't have money, I'm not ready. Brian Tracy says it over and over again: successful people and average people are separated by just one thing. Successful people find solutions. Average people find excuses. And the more you get used to justifying your lack of action, the further you drift from any real change. Excuses are a form of self-deception. They give you short-term comfort, but in the long run, they destroy your personal power. Every time you make an excuse instead of taking responsibility, you shrink. You become smaller, more fragile, and more dependent on your circumstances. What Brian teaches is simple but brutally honest. You can change your life the moment you stop blaming others, your past, the system, your partner, your parents, or the government. Everything starts when you say, "This is my responsibility." Even if it's not your fault, it's still your responsibility. And that gives you power, because if you created it, you can change it. But as long as you live in victim mode, waiting for things to change on the outside, you'll stay stuck forever. And that place gets darker and colder with every excuse you repeat. The third habit silently destroying your life, one that Brian Tracy identifies as incredibly dangerous, is surrounding yourself with negative people. People who constantly complain, who see problems in everything, who criticize your ideas, and who limit you with their fears and small view of the world. You might not notice it at first, but their influence seeps into your mind. You start to doubt yourself, focus more on what could go wrong than on what's possible. And before you know it, you're not the same person anymore. Your energy is lower, your enthusiasm fades, your dreams feel more distant. Brian Tracy is clear: your environment shapes your destiny. The people you spend the most time with directly affect your thoughts, your decisions, and your results. You can't expect to live an extraordinary life if you're surrounded by mediocrity. This isn't about judging others, it's about protecting your progress. Because if you don't, you'll eventually absorb their habits, their language, their complaints, and most dangerously, their limited vision of what's possible. Negativity is contagious, but so is ambition, drive, and a hunger for growth. That's why one of the most powerful steps you can take is to be intentional about who gets to be in your circle and who doesn't. And if for some reason you can't fully distance yourself from toxic people, maybe they're family or co-workers, then at least protect your mind. Don't engage in conversations that drain your spirit. Don't let their pessimism dim your inner fire. Tracy suggests becoming the gatekeeper of your mind, filtering every influence that could sabotage your mindset. Because if you don't choose what goes into your head, someone else will. And not always with the best intentions. Now let's talk about the fourth habit. One that seems harmless, but is deeply destructive: living without clear goals. Most people go through life reacting to whatever happens. They wake up, go through the motions, survive the day, and repeat. But they have no direction, no vision, no defined purpose. Brian Tracy insists that one of the most important factors in achieving success in any area of life is to have specific, written goals with a deadline. It's not enough to say, "I want to be happy," or "I want more money." You have to define exactly what that means for you, how you'll achieve it, by when, and what actions you'll take today to move closer. Living without goals is like getting in a taxi and not telling the driver where to go. You might end up somewhere, but probably not where you wanted to be, and that's the reality for millions of people. They end up in lives they never wanted, simply because they never chose a destination. According to Brian Tracy, just writing down your goals dramatically increases your chances of achieving them. It's a commitment to yourself, a signal to your mind that this matters and you're serious. Without clear goals, you become a victim of your environment. Others make decisions for you. You adapt to what shows up instead of creating what you truly want. And the saddest part? This lack of direction robs you of your most valuable resource, your time. Days, weeks, even years that could have been used to build something amazing are wasted on empty routines, distractions, and obligations that don't even make you feel alive. Tracy reminds us again and again, there's no greater pain than looking back and realizing you could have done more, but didn't, simply because you never defined what more meant for you. So if your life feels off track, start with a single sheet of paper. Write down what you want to achieve this year, this month, this week. Break it down into actions and understand why it matters to you. Don't underestimate the power of this exercise, because the moment you write down your goals and take action, you stop being a victim and start becoming the creator of your destiny. The fifth and perhaps most silent habit of all is allowing negative thoughts to rule your life. Brian Tracy makes it clear, what you think about consistently becomes your reality. This isn't just a metaphor, it's a powerful mental law. If your mind is constantly filled with doubt, fear, complaints, and thoughts of failure, that's what you'll end up creating. Not because the universe is against you, but because your thoughts shape your emotions. Your emotions shape your decisions, and your decisions shape your results. It all starts in the mind. Tracy believes most people don't fail due to a lack of talent. They fail because they've been conditioned to think negatively. Maybe as children they were told they weren't good enough, that success is only for the lucky few, or that dreaming big is a waste of time. Over the years, those beliefs become an inner voice that never stops whispering, "You can't, it's too late, you'll fail." But here's the truth, that voice isn't yours, it's borrowed, and you can reprogram it. He says that just like you train your body to build strength, you must train your mind to develop a positive mental attitude. No one is born with confidence, self-discipline, or resilience. These are not traits, they're skills, and they're developed through practice. It all starts with what you allow to live in your mind. Are you speaking to yourself like a winner or like a victim? Are you focusing on what you can do or on everything that could go wrong? Every day is a new chance to choose thoughts that strengthen you, that inspire you, that remind you who you have the potential to become. It's not easy, it's a constant battle, but according to Tracy, it's the most important battle you'll ever fight, the battle for control of your mind. Winning it doesn't mean you'll never feel fear or doubt again. It means you won't let those thoughts control your story. That's why it's critical to start guarding what you listen to, what you read, and the conversations you engage in. If you feed your mind with garbage, your life will eventually reflect that garbage. But if you carefully choose what you consume, if you surround yourself with messages, people, and content that push you to grow, your life will begin to change. Because all external change starts internally. Brian Tracy teaches a simple but powerful technique. Every time you have a negative thought, immediately replace it with a positive one. Don't ignore it. Don't suppress it. Replace it. If you think "I can't," say "Yes, I can, and I'll find a way." If you think this is too hard, say "This challenge is making me stronger." Your mind needs direction. It needs leadership. And if you don't lead it, your fear, your past, or your environment will. So take control. Your inner dialogue is like an ongoing conversation with your destiny. The words you say to yourself every day are writing your future. And if you don't like where your life is heading, maybe the first thing you need to change is what you're telling yourself each morning. Because in the end, it's not what happens to you that determines your life. It's how you think about it and how you respond. And that is always in your hands. Everything we've talked about leads to a truth that Brian Tracy has repeated throughout his life. You're not limited by your circumstances. You're limited by your habits. And if these 5 habits are destroying you from the inside, it's because, at some point, you gave them permission to stay. Maybe it was out of comfort, fear of change, or simply because you didn't know there was another way to live. But now you do. And just being aware of them is already a massive step toward transformation. What's most powerful about Tracy's message isn't that you have to change everything overnight. This isn't a promise of instant success. What he teaches is this: every small change, every new action, every conscious decision you make today has the power to radically shape your future. It doesn't matter how bad things have been. You can always choose a new path. You can always decide to break away from limiting habits and replace them with empowering ones. But it won't happen by magic. Tracy is clear: it takes discipline. And discipline is simply doing what you know you should do, even when you don't feel like doing it. Because what's killing your progress isn't a lack of opportunity. It's a lack of habits aligned with your goals. Habits like waking up early, reading every day, planning your day, eating better, managing your money, surrounding yourself with uplifting people, and taking action, even when you're scared. These are the habits that build you. And the best part? They're available to anyone who's willing to commit. If you want to transform your life, start by transforming your days. And to transform your days, transform your decisions. Decide to stop procrastinating. Decide to stop making excuses. Decide to distance yourself from negativity. Decide to set clear goals. Decide to take control of your thoughts. And above all, decide to take action. Because without action, knowledge is worthless. Brian Tracy says it best: success is the practical application of knowledge. You could know everything. You could watch 1,000 videos, read 100 books, and listen to every podcast. But if you don't apply what you learn in your daily life, nothing will change. What separates those who achieve extraordinary results isn't luck, intelligence, or resources. It's commitment to personal growth. They're people who do, day after day, what most others aren't willing to do. And they do it not because it's easy, but because they understand that the price of success will always be lower than the price of regret. Living with discipline might be uncomfortable, but living with regret is unbearable. So you have to decide, which price are you willing to pay? The price of effort or the price of regret? And only you can make that decision. The time to act is now, not tomorrow, not Monday, not when you're ready. Now. Because the habit of waiting for the right time is one of the very things that's been holding you back. If you want to reclaim your personal power, you have to break that pattern today. Start by making a list of your current habits. Identify the ones pulling you away from the life you want. Then write down the new habits you need to build. Start with the smallest one. Choose just one. Practice it every day for 30 days without fail. You'll begin to see your confidence grow, your energy shift, and your mind expand. Because in the end, it's not about doing big things once. It's about doing small things every day, consistently. And that, more than anything else, is what transforms your life. Every habit that's been destroying you can become the foundation for building the most powerful version of yourself. That's what Brian Tracy has always wanted you to understand. This isn't about blame. It's not about looking back with resentment or carrying the shame of what you didn't do. It's about facing the truth with honesty. It's about having the courage to acknowledge where you are, and from that place, taking full control of your destiny. Because there's nothing more liberating than realizing your future doesn't depend on anyone but you. This journey isn't linear. There will be days when you fall, when you feel like you can't keep going, when everything feels too hard or old patterns start winning again. But even in those moments, remember what Tracy taught. Every time you choose to rise after a fall, you strengthen your character. You're becoming the kind of person who can handle success, who doesn't collapse when life gets tough, who has deep and unshakable roots. And that strength is forged not by avoiding destructive habits, but by confronting them. Ask yourself honestly, what is it costing you to hold on to these habits? What have you sacrificed by postponing your dreams, by making excuses, by allowing negative influences into your life, by drifting without clear direction, by feeding your mind with destructive thoughts? And more importantly, what could you gain if you took just one step in the opposite direction? The truth is, everything you want is on the other side of commitment. Not desire, not temporary motivation, commitment, deep, personal, unwavering commitment. And that commitment isn't proven by what you say you want. It's proven by the choices you make every single day. There's something Brian Tracy says often. The secret to success is doing more of what works and less of what doesn't. Simple, powerful. Look at your life like a laboratory. Pay close attention to what habits are moving you toward your vision and which ones are pulling you away. Then make bold decisions. Cut out what doesn't work, even if it hurts, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it means ending relationships, breaking routines, or stepping outside your comfort zone. That discomfort is temporary, but the benefits? They're permanent. You weren't born just to survive. You're here to grow, to lead your life, to build something meaningful. And for that, you must stop acting like your time has no value. Every day that passes without you taking control is a day lost, a day you can never get back, a day you could have used to create, to love, to pursue what you know deep down you were born to do. No one's coming to save you, because you don't need saving. You need to wake up. And that's exactly what you're doing right now. You're waking up to a truth that will change your life forever. You have the power. You always have. It doesn't matter how many times you failed. It doesn't matter how many times you've said you'd change and didn't. What matters is that today, you can start again. Not with empty promises, but with action. A small action. A consistent one, a firm one. Brian Tracy says, an extraordinary life isn't built from one big moment. It's built from thousands of small moments where you choose to act despite fear, to move forward despite doubt, to stay committed despite setbacks. And here you are reading this because something inside you is ready. That something is your inner voice, your true self, whispering, it's time. Time to let go of the habits that are destroying you. Time to make decisions bigger than your excuses. Time to take full ownership of your life, not because you have to be perfect, but because you deserve to live a life that inspires you, that makes you feel alive, that fills you with purpose and joy. True transformation doesn't happen in a flash of lightning. It happens when you choose, without excuses, to start doing what's right, every day, even when no one's watching. Brian Tracy has said it many times. Great achievements aren't isolated events. They are the sum of thousands of intentional choices. And right now, you're standing in front of one of those choices. You can ignore this message. You can go back to the same habits that have brought you here. Or you can decide that today is the day everything begins to change. Not tomorrow, not when you have more time, not when life feels easier. Today, because waiting for the perfect moment is the sixth habit, silently killing your potential. The belief that you need to be ready to start is a lie your mind tells you to keep you safe and small. Brian Tracy puts it clearly. You will never be completely ready. There will always be something missing. knowledge, resources, confidence. But success doesn't come from having everything lined up. It comes from action. People who succeed aren't the ones who wait until everything feels perfect. They act with what they have, now. They use their current energy, their current tools, their current mindset, because they understand that clarity doesn't come before action. It comes after action. And if you don't begin now, when will you? What if someday never comes? Every day you delay your personal growth, your goals, your dreams. You're trading irreplaceable time for nothing in return. And the more you wait, the harder it gets. Not because the world changes, but because you do. You get used to being stuck. You adapt to mediocrity. You convince yourself it's too late. But that's not true. It's just a story. And you can write a new one, starting today. A story where you let go of habits that sabotage your life. Where you choose habits that lift you higher, that push you forward, that guide you toward the strongest, most powerful version of yourself. Brian Tracy has always said this: the greatest gift you can give yourself is the gift of personal discipline. Because with discipline, anything is possible. You can rebuild your life from scratch. You can heal your wounds. You can transform your body, your mind, your finances, and your relationships. But without discipline, even the best intentions end up as broken promises. Discipline is not repression. It's freedom. It's the ability to take control, to direct your energy toward what truly matters, to stop reacting to life and start creating it on purpose. And you don't have to change everything at once. Start with one habit, just one. Pick the one that hurts you the most, the one you know has done the most damage. Maybe it's procrastination. Maybe it's allowing toxic people to influence your mind. Maybe it's living without goals or feeding your mind with destructive thoughts. Whatever it is, face it. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't justify it. Look it in the eye and decide it no longer gets to control you. Then, replace it. Create a new habit in its place. One that builds instead of destroys. One that brings you closer to the life you want, instead of pulling you away from it. And if you fall, because you will, don't punish yourself. Don't quit. Progress isn't linear. There will be good days and hard days. But what matters most is that you keep going. Let every setback be a lesson. Let every step forward be a celebration, because every day you choose to continue, you're winning. You're proving that you're stronger than your excuses, greater than your fears, and more committed to your growth than to your comfort. And now that you've made it this far, there's something you can't unsee. You already know which habits are silently killing you. You know the excuses you use the most. You know the thoughts you allow to live rent-free in your mind. You know who's draining your energy. And you know what you've been putting off, as if your time didn't matter. This is not just another moment. This is one of those moments, the kind that can change everything. The moment where life speaks clearly to you and offers you a choice. Keep doing what you've always done, or wake up and take control. Brian Tracy has always believed that real change starts with a choice. Not with some big revelation, not with an emotional high, but with a quiet, firm decision. A decision that doesn't need applause or validation. Just you saying, enough. Enough living life on autopilot. Enough letting these habits steal your dreams, your energy, your health, your relationships, and your peace. From today on, I choose what builds me, what moves me forward, what connects me with the best version of who I am. And that decision, it's not just for you, it's for the people around you. Because when one person decides to break free from destructive habits and live with intention, they become a silent example of transformation. Your kids, your partner, your friends, your co-workers, they'll feel it, even if you never say a word. That is real impact, and it starts with you. Now I want to ask you for something, not for me, for someone who still hasn't heard this message but needs it. If this video touched something in you, if something inside woke up, don't keep it to yourself. Share this message. Send it to someone you care about. Someone who's struggling silently. Someone who feels stuck. Someone who just needs a spark to start believing in themselves again. drop a comment below. Tell me, what habit are you struggling to let go of? Or which one are you ready to start working on today? Just by writing it down, you're making a commitment to yourself. And maybe, just maybe, someone else will read your words and find the courage to change too. Because this is more than just a video. This is a community, and in this community, your story, your words, can inspire thousands. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe. Hit that notification bell. This channel isn't just a place to watch videos. It's a space for growth, for transformation, to remind you that you are capable of more, that you deserve more, and that you're here to live an extraordinary life. A life that begins the moment you choose to let go of the habits that are destroying you and start building, day by day, the most powerful version of yourself. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being part of this movement. I'll see you in the next video. And remember, what you do today can change the rest of your life. Choose wisely.